Welcome to your weekly edition of me, James, introducing you to our new coffee release at Blending Room, which this week is a washed, mixed cultivar coffee from Colombia called San Lorenzo. As usual, I'll walk you through how I roasted the coffees, we'll taste it to describe some of the flavour characteristics, and I'll give you an indication as to how I think you should brew it. This coffee, like many others, was sourced through our long-term import partners, Falcon Speciality. I've written a bunch of information about this farm provided to us by Falcon in the description below, and I've also put a few links to their website as well. Now to the science bit, let's talk about how I roasted this coffee. I've roasted 2 batches of the San Lorenzo this week, both of which were a starting mass of 12 kilos and roasted on the Loring S15 Falcon behind me. So what do the roast profiles look like? Digging into Cropster, the software system that I use to collect all of the roast data, we can see that the roast profiles follow a very similar curve. The rate of rise curve, another metric that I use to quantify whether I'm performing a similar batch, one batch after the other, equally follows a very similar shape. You can note that I've made a couple of temperature adjustments towards the end of the roast that are different between each batches. However, the total roast time of 10 minutes and 5 seconds and 10 minutes and 2 seconds are very, very similar. We also have a roast development time of 1 minute and 31 seconds. Note, this is a touch longer than the Miyu last week, which I did at 1 minute and 21 seconds. The notion behind this was to assist in smoothing out some of the acidity that I was pretty sure would be present within a washed, high altitude Colombian coffee like San Lorenzo. You'll also note that the two end temperatures between 213.4 and 212.7 are somewhat similar, but I did want to make sure that there was a slight difference between the two roasts just so that I can measure which performs better, i.e. a higher end temperature or a lower end temperature for my next roast cycles that I'll be doing this coming week. Now that we've talked about the roast profiles, let's get into my favorite bit about this presentation, the tasting. When it comes to flavor assessment, I'm going to do 2 things. I'm going to use my nose to capture the aroma profile, and then of course I'm going to taste the coffee as well. The aroma for specialty coffee, for any particular food type, is so important for that initial assessment. So let's dig my nose in and see what I can smell. I've got lots of like green apple peel and a rich caramel too. There's also a little bit of dark chocolate in there, and I'm pretty certain that those aromas will appear in the cup profile too. So let's have a taste now. Wow. So first of all, I'm just going to assess the acidity. There is a lot of fruit-like acidity in this, and it expresses in a green apple peel and a tangerine, so sweet orange, but the acidity is incredibly bright. We would call it youthful. So the next assessment is going to be the mouthfeel. And what we want to do here is we want to assess whether the coffee sits on our palate in a coating-like manner, whether it's flighty and disappears quickly, and all of those help us build flavor descriptors in the cup. So let's have a taste. Right, so this is really coating. It's very syrupy. There are some toffee characteristics, caramels and other sort of sweet brown sugars as well. So those flavor descriptors really help add weight to that syrupy body in the cup. The final assessment then is the finish. And this is an important quality to all coffees. Finish and how it sits on your palate for the next minutes, sometimes even hours, can be very important to many people. I like coffees to sit around on my palate for about 20 minutes after I finish brewing, just to remind me how delicious it was. So let's have a taste. With this you get a very, very prevalent dark chocolate, which is lovely. It sits around for a long, long period of time. I've been filming this for the past hour and I've still got all this coffee characteristics on my palate. So bringing those 3 things together, we have the green apple and tangerine-like fruit acidity at the front. We then have toffees, caramels and brown sugars and its syrupy body in the middle. And then we have that really unctuous dark chocolate on the finish. So how do those flavors lead us into the choice of brewing method? Because of the really bright acidity, this is maybe not a coffee that I would choose for an out-and-out espresso. The brown sugar and the dark chocolates would lend itself well to milk-based drinks, but what you might need to do is just run your shot a little longer in total length, and what I mean by that is increase your dilution in order to mitigate some of the bright acid compounds at the beginning of the coffee. I have a preference to brewing this as a cafetiere. I think that's where this coffee will really sing. It will bring together all of that syrupy sweetness, and it will smooth out some of the acidity and allow that rich dark chocolate to be present as well. I've brewed this today as a filter coffee, and the filter coffee really allows the acidity to come through. I get lots of that green apple, lots of that tangerine at the beginning, and if you like very fruit-forward coffees that are bright and youthful in the cup, filter coffee should be the one for you. And that's San Lorenzo. I hope the video has been useful. This little walkthrough that I do on a weekly basis provides you with enough information to allow you to purchase the coffee with confidence. I'll be doing these tasting videos every week to coincide with the new coffee releases at Blending Room, so do make sure that you subscribe to the channel so that you can get these insights to inform your purchasing. I hope you have a great day, and thanks for watching. See you again.